Life is full of challenges, and the challenges that we experience in our own lives often cause us to suffer, not because of the challenges themselves, but how we actually experience those challenges is us causing ourselves to suffer. So how do we get out of it? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about the three main components to fix any kind of suffering that you're going through. Okay, so let's dive right in. There are three major keys that you can use in any situation that are like the secret sauce to alleviate your suffering. Obviously, there's lots of challenges out there, and particularly in this case, we're talking about patterns in our life. Things that we see repeating, the same gosh darn situation that we keep seeing ourselves in over and over again. This could be in relationship, it could be in work, it could be some kind of personality thing that we see ourselves getting into conflict with others. So what are these three main components? The first one is that we need to understand what I would call universal energy. This is the wisdom of how energy and human beings work. Now, this has been a challenge that people have been asking questions about for centuries, for millennia, and there is an ancient wisdom that you can glean and get from different various traditions. So what we're really talking about here is the key word for this section, which is ancient wisdom. Ancient wisdom, whether it's from the Vedic tradition of India or from indigenous cultures or from deeper ancient Eastern philosophy, this aspect is a source for ancient wisdom. This is what has been known and tested by the wisdom ones over traditions and over human history to really see what's really going on here. What this doesn't mean is it starts to take us out of the realm of the mind. It takes us beyond pure intellectualism. It takes us beyond pure modern psychological theory. Those things are helpful. We need to use our brains for good research and development. But what we're really talking about here, what really liberates us from the suffering and the shenanigans that we get ourselves in, is ancient wisdom. So find your sources of ancient wisdom, find a qualified teacher, start reading the right books and traditions to get yourself towards ancient wisdom, to start to figure out where your suffering and your challenges are actually coming from without getting distracted by the mind and without over trusting your emotions. Number two is we need to cultivate our observer mind. Now, you just heard me say in number one that we shouldn't trust our mind too much, and that's true. What I'm calling our observer mind is our higher mind. This is the part of ourselves that we can train to actually watch ourselves, like the little guardian angel helper on our shoulders, to start to reflect, to remove ourselves from being right up front and getting in the thick of the emotions and the issues that are coming up with us, to actually being a little bit above the situation. This part of our mind, our observer mind, has a more objective voice. It's able to really see what's happening and tell the truth about our behavior as well. You'll know you're using your observer mind when you can start to talk about the situation and your role in it in a little bit more of an objective way, saying, wow, I see that I really got triggered there. Wow, I see that I inherently end up acting this way, and that seems to cause people to do this. So cultivating our observer mind is super important because it helps us break the cycle that we're stuck in. The key word for this point is judge by results. Sooner or later, we come to notice that we are the common denominator in our experience. If the same shit keeps coming our way, it probably has something to do with us. Life is not random. If I keep getting in the same crappy situations, it might actually be me that's the problem. Seeing our observer mind, giving that power, can actually start to show us and can start to show us the way out. So we start to judge by results, and that will really help us solve any kind of situation. Number three is that we have to cultivate our subtle body. Now, our subtle body is like the technical side of our mind-body system interaction. And what this does is it's like cultivating our inner world. It's toning up our nervous system. It's understanding our physiological reactions to be able to have more space and more control to deal with difficulty. What I'm really saying is we need to cultivate our mind-body connection, our subtle body, so that even in the moment when we get triggered, when something annoys us, when a pattern comes up, we're actually able to stay with that difficulty and stay with ourselves without our nervous system getting overloaded, without going unconscious, without shutting down, without going numb, without disassociating. Those things are all subtle body challenges. So if your subtle body isn't strong enough, you might have all the observer mind in the world when you're alone in the dark by yourself at home. You're like, wow, I can really see myself, I can process it. But as soon as you get into that stressful situation with a coworker, as soon as you get with your mom on the phone, all that goes out the window and you are losing your shit before you even know what time it is. Having subtle body cultivation, this is the difference that subtle body works makes. And if you're interested in that, I'll tell you more at the end. This is what we do, because this is the missing connection. When you cultivate your inner world, when you hone in your mind-body, subtle body connection, you're able to maintain your observer mind even when you're triggered. And this makes all the difference. This is the difference between someone who has book knowledge and intellectual understanding and someone who can actually apply that in the moment. Someone who can speak and lecture in theory and someone who can actually be present even when someone is accusing them of something, even when someone is acting out in anger, even when it's a tight situation. I know that when I went to Chinese medicine school, I could really see the difference in different professors. There were clinicians who would teach the theory classes and could read from the book and do the stats and would give you the numbers and the percentages of the herbs that you should have in each formula. And then there were the professors who you could really feel emanated this medicine. Yes, they knew a lot of statistics and other things, but they had cultivated their inner world. They had been building their mind-body connection to be present, to be the solution itself. When we really work the subtle body, we start to realize that we are the problem and the solution. And it's a great thing. Imagine what it would be like for the outer world, for that annoying guy at work, for your mom or your mother-in-law and those triggers in the phone that you hear all the time, for the people in your outer world to do the same annoying thing, but for you to actually feel peaceful on the inside. Almost take it as a little funny when they're doing their annoying things. This is the power of subtle body work. So if you get the sparkle on that and you want to know more, I'll leave some links below. You can always check out our trainings and more information to really see yourself with this 3-component system, cultivating your inner world, of understanding ancient knowledge, of cultivating your observer mind to solve any problem that you are having in life. You are a soul with a body and you deserve great things. So glad to be here with you, and I'll see you next time.